Welcome. So in this part of the lesson, we're going to go through part 5, which is an extension part. So it is optional, but you should be able to do them because it just involves a little bit of fractions. So let's have a look here. So I'm going to come here and let's look at the first one. Well, we're going to approach it as usual. We're going to solve this for x. So I'm going to first begin by plussing both sides by 3. And that's going to leave me with 4x is equal to 26. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And now what you're going to see is that we get 26 over 4. So it doesn't simplify to a whole number, and that's fine. We just need to simplify this. What does 26 and 4 both simplify to? Well, I could divide them both by 2. That would leave me with 13 here, and it would leave me with 2 there. So that means your final answer here is going to be x is equal to 13 on 2. So you just need to make sure that you simplify your final answer there to get it correct. All right, you should attempt to pause the next one and give it a go yourself. So what we're going to do here is we're simply going to times both sides by 7. And that's going to leave me with 28 on one side and 9x plus 4 on the other. And then we're going to keep on going here. The next thing that I would want to do is get rid of that 4 here. So I will minus 4 to both sides. And that would give me 24 is equal to 9x. And then the last thing that I'll do here is to get rid of that 9, I'm going to divide both sides by 9. That's going to leave me with, now I'm just going to write it as I see it to begin with, 24 on 9 is equal to x. Now, 24 and 9 can both be simplified. They can both be divided by 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that means my answer here is going to be 8 on 3. So 8 on 3 is going to be my answer. That's what x is equal to. So let's highlight that. Let's keep on going. This next one here, let's see how we go with it. Remember, give it a pause and give it a go yourself. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get rid of that 3 in the denominator, and I'm going to do that by timesing both sides by 3. And that means I'm going to end up with 18x minus 9 is equal to 12. Then I'm going to get rid of the 9 on both sides, and I'm going to do that by plussing 9 to each side. So I'm going to get 12. Oh, whoopsie daisy, I made a little mistake here. Let's just come back a bit. What did I forget to do? I've got to times that. 12 times 3 is 36. My apologies. That's 36. Let's keep on going. Now, I'm going to plus 9 to both sides. So that's going to leave me with 18x on this side, and then 36 plus 9 is going to be equal to 45. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 18. Which is going to leave me with x is equal to 45 on 18. And then I'm going to simplify this down. So you have to ask yourself, what can I divide both 45 and 18 by? Well, they're both divisible by 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5, and 18 divided by 9 is 2. So my answer is going to be x is equal to 5 on 2. So as you can see, these aren't tremendously tricky. They just require that extra step of simplifying, which some people do find a little tricky, but hopefully you're doing fine with it. Make sure to pause the video and give the next one an attempt yourself. I'm going to begin by minusing 9 to both sides, and that's going to leave me with negative 8x is equal to, now I've got negative 37 minus 9. That's going to be negative 46. And then once I've done that, I'm going to divide by negative 8. Divide by negative 8. So that means I'm going to be left with x is equal to, now I'm going to end up with negative 46 on negative 8. I know a negative and a negative make a positive, so I know my final answer is going to be positive, and I also know that I can simplify this by, now what can I divide them both by? I could just halve them. So this will be 4, and half of this will be 23, and that's as good as it gets. So that means what my final answer here is going to be 23 on 4. Make sure you write it as a positive because the two negatives cancel each other out. That is my answer to that one. All right, we keep on going here. Let's now move on to this one. All right, what are we going to do here? I need to get rid of that 3 first. So I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide by 3. And that's going to leave me with x minus 2 is equal to 5 on 3. And now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to plus 2 to both sides. I'm going to have to plus 2 to both sides. Now this one is a little different, and maybe you got a little stuck on this one. This is 5 on 3 plus 2. So I need to add a fraction to a whole number. How do I do that? Well, the way in which you're going to do that is realizing that 2 is the same as 2 on 1. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get this to have the same denominator as this in order to add them together. So I'm going to have to times this by 3 and this by 3. Remembering, whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So that means it's going to become 6 on 3, and then I can add them together, and I'm going to get 11 on 3. So hopefully you found that one okay. It is a little bit different to what we've seen previously, but nothing to it. All right, let's see if you can give the next one a go. Again, make sure you're pausing the video and you're giving them a go yourself. All right, so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 12 to start with. And that's going to leave me with 9 on 12 is equal to x plus 5. Okay, once I've done that, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually simplify this down first. I can divide these both by 3, and I can be left with 3 on 4. So that's the same as 3/4. All right, then we keep on going here. So I'm going to have 3 on 4 is equal to x plus 5. So I'm just rewriting what I have there. And now the next thing I need to do is get rid of this 5. That's an ugly arrow. Let's try that again. I'm going to minus 5. I'm going to minus 5 here. And this is where we have to be careful. It's 3 on 4 minus 5 is equal to x. So again, we're going to realize that 5 is the same as 5 on 1. And then we're going to get them to be common denominators by timesing this by 4 and 4. So that means what I'm going to end up with here is 3 on 4 minus 20 on 4 is equal to x. And then you have to go 3 minus 20 is negative 17 on 4 is equal to x. And that is going to be my answer there. So there we go. Let's keep on moving. Last two of this one. We are going to begin by dividing both sides by 4. And that's going to leave me with 3/4 is equal to x minus 7. I then am going to plus 7 to both sides. So I'm going to plus 7 to both sides. And that's going to leave me with 3 on 4 plus 7 is equal to x. Now this is where you have to remember that this is the same as 7 on 1, right? So in order to get this to be the same, I'm going to have to times this by 4 and this by 4. So that means I'm going to end up with 3 on 4 plus 28 on 4 is equal to x. And then 3 plus 28 is 31 on 4. That can't be simplified, so I leave my answer as that. And then the last one for this part, again, make sure you're pausing it and giving it a go yourself. We're again going to begin by dividing to get rid of that number at the front. And that's going to leave me with 5 on 20 is equal to x plus 9. I now am going to subtract 9 from both sides. And you know what? Before I do that, what I would do first is I would simplify this, because this is the same as 1 on 4. And that's just going to make my life a little easier. You always want to simplify as you're going along, just to make your life easier. Oh, and that should be red. Let's try it again. That should be minus 9. That should be minus 9. So that's going to be 1 on 4 minus 9 is equal to x. Okay, now we have to think for a second. I've got 1 on 4 minus, now this 9 is the same as 9 on 1. And actually, let me just do that up here. This is the same as 9 on 1. 1 on 4 minus 9 on 1. I'm going to have to get it to be common denominators. So I'm going to have to times this by 4, times this by 4. So that means I'm going to get 36 on 4 here. 36 on 4 is equal to x. Then I'm going to go 1 minus 36. That's going to be negative 35 on 4 is equal to x. There we go. And that is my answer right there. And that's how we do those questions. They're all your answers there. Hopefully you found this interesting. Make sure that you're taking pictures as you're going because I want to see all your great working out. And there is one more extension part, I believe. I think there's one more left. So I'll see you in that video.